The chat is on, so we are good. TV, you got it? Got it on the monitor?
Yeah. Man, it got cold this morning.
Did I had to turn on the heater in the studio?
Let's see if Adam Schefter's reporting anything good.
Yeah. Spurs fans not happy, man. What's up, Mac Gomez? You know, we were right about the Cowboys. I think we're going to be right about this Spurs team. What did we say? 35-38?
Yeah. They have too many road games to come, man. This was the game that they needed.
I'm still here, Sochan. Where is he? Joe Lerma, is this your king? Everybody's turning on the Spurs, man. But we told you all in the beginning of the season, man. 35-38 win team.
Chicago Bears want to talk to Mike McCarthy.
He would be stupid not to take that.
He's a wanted man, dude.
Hear him out. They might be, you know what? He might be best for him if he leaves Jerry World, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your host as it helps the show grow.
Happy Tuesday, San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. And this is the Area 210 podcast brought to you by MCS General Contracting and Locked On Spurs. We're going to go for about an hour 15, hour and a half today. We talk sports, we talk pop culture, we talk all things San Antonio. Exit 7 in the house. Joe Garcia, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, you know? It looks like Spurs fans are starting to turn on Sochan.
Okay, so we need to get into this. We're just going to dive right into it, man. You know, none of this whole pleasantries. How are we doing today? We need to dive into this because I gave Sochan his flowers yesterday on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, Spurs collapsed, lose the 19-point lead that they had to the Chicago Bulls on the road. That game was put away.
Yeah.
I think 8 Spurs were in double figures. You got to win those games. And the Spurs collapsed down the stretch, lose this game, still over 500 on the season, but lose this game. And I went onto the Twitter spaces that our good friend Matt Lerma has, okay, who's a Sochan stan. The number of people out there who turned on not only Jeremy Sochan, but Devin Vassell was startling. Like, I was just watching this, listening to this, going, oh my God, people now see what I see. People now see what you see, Joe. And we see the meme of Matt Lerma saying, I'm still here, Sochan. Even Matt Lerma was talking crap a little bit about Jeremy Sochan, which is weird because Sochan for 3.5 quarters yesterday had a solid game. He was 5 of 7. He wasn't creating his own shot. Yeah. What he was doing was he was getting putbacks, right? Down low, making shots from 1 foot away.
Yeah, living in the paint.
But in the last 3 minutes of the game, what did we see? Sochan take a wide open 3-point shot that was ugly.
Did anybody come out and guard him?
No one guarded him on that shot. It was missed so badly. And then we see Devin Vassell make a horrible decision, try to kick it out to Sochan at the 3-point line, and it got fumbled out of bounds.
The thing with Vassell is, if I was the coach, right, Mitch Johnson, I would have called a timeout and pulled his ass out immediately and told him, What the F are you doing even thinking about getting that brother the ball?
Exactly. And why the hero ball? Why are you
Stupid,
trying to
dude.
make these decisions? This is Wemby's team down the stretch.
Yeah, give it to Wemby.
So as much as I want to like put the bus under, drive over Jeremy Sochan right now, really we need to talk about Devin Vassell.
Hey,
Because
he might
Vassell
be the
is
liability, dude.
Because Vassell is suddenly becoming a liability. We saw this yesterday when it came to Jeremy Sochan. 3.5 solid quarters, man. 4 minutes to go in the game. He has a block as a secondary defender, right? Guard goes by one of the Spurs players. Boom. Sochan's there for the block. And I was like, man, that was a good block. That was with 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Spurs were up 5 at that time. They collapsed at that point. And what we see more and more is that Jeremy Sochan is a complete liability on this team in crunch time. Complete liability. We saw that against the Nuggets the other day, right? When the Spurs lost to the Nuggets here at the Frost Bank Center. Where was he in overtime, Joe? Stapled to the bench. Why? Because you need points.
Can't score. He can't shoot. You can't count on him if they foul him and go to the stripe. What's he going to do? 1 or 2?
1 of 2. But here's the thing, though. People look at the stat line and go, well, he went 5 for 7.
But he has green hair, Mike.
He has green hair. He went 5 for 7. You look at 5 for 7 and you think, oh, he's doing a good game.
No.
But those are all putbacks, dude. He's wide open. And as I mentioned yesterday on the Twitter Spaces, his shooting percentages from 3 aren't going to improve. You know why? Because if they start to improve, people are going to guard him. And that's going to be a different thing because right now he's shooting 28% from 3. Guess what? Unguarded.
Yeah.
He's never had a hand in his face in his entire life.
They said, show me.
Go
Go ahead.
So it's weird because yesterday people started turning on him and people started turning on Devin Vassell. And Vassell has been a fan favorite. He's the highest paid Spur, making $29 million a year. Been a fan favorite of this team for quite some time. Spurs drafted him in the lottery back in the day.
Arguably the second best player on the team.
Arguably.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where you see down the stretch, Chris Paul III playing very well the entire game. Sochan, 3.5 quarters, solid. Wemby, three quarters, solid. But Wemby's shot disappeared. Vassell's shot disappeared. And all of a sudden, they're kicking the ball back out to Sochan. I'm like, what are you doing? So, several things that have swirled in my head about this, Joe. And by the way, you can leave your comments on the chat right here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Powered by MCS General Contracting.
We'll get to the super chat here in a minute.
Yeah. So, part of me is excited that Spurs fans are pissed off and frustrated. And the reason I'm excited about that is that Spurs fans suddenly have expectations. And we didn't have expectations. We had back-to-back years of 22 and 60 seasons. So now it's nice to see that Spurs fans have expectations of this team. We look at the fact that the Spurs went into Denver on Friday night and beat the crap out of that team. So then we see them take on a team that's under 500 in Chicago, even though it's on the road, Joe. We look at that, and as Spurs fans, we now have expectations. We may not have expectations of the Spurs beating the Lakers or beating the Mavericks or beating OKC, although we have earlier this year. We beat OKC once. We have expectations of, you know what, at least beat Chicago, right? Beat Utah, beat Chicago, beat Sacramento. We're supposed to beat the teams that are below us.
Arguably, the Spurs in Chicago, kind of evenly matched.
Evenly matched. I think the Spurs are better. I think the Spurs had better talent out there. Right now, the Bulls are 17-19 in a lesser conference, the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Spurs right now hold the 10th spot at 18-18, right? Still at 500 on the season, holding on to the 10th spot. So if the season was to end right now, we'd be in the play-in tournament. But the fact of the matter is the Spurs have a ton of road games over the next month and a half because not only are we on the road much of January, but then we have the rodeo road trip coming up, which basically takes them out of San Antonio for the better part of a month in February. Then you have the All-Star break.
And let's do some math real quick, right?
Yeah.
How many games are in the regular season?
82.
How many games have the Spurs played?
Spurs have played 36.
They're almost at the halfway mark.
Almost at the halfway mark. And right now the Spurs have played 20 games at home, 16 on the road. Spurs are 6-10 on road games. So we have to improve that, and hopefully we do. The Spurs are an average team, which is better than what we've been before. Yeah. We're an average team.
What is your record says who you are,
right?
You are,
18-18 in a good conference and in a good division. So you look at it, and I think to myself, Spurs fans are now optimistic because we have expectations. And now that we have expectations, we now need to look at some of these players a little bit more closely.
They need to be under that microscope, man. Vassell's one of them, dude.
Okay, so people came after me about Sochan because from like day one, I've been critical.
You're a Sochan hater.
That's what I've been called, right?
Yeah.
I want him to succeed. I really do. But people gave me crap because I was criticizing a player on a 22-60 team. And then I criticized him again on a 22-60 team, and that made me look like a dick. But you do this to a player that's on a 500 or better team, the spotlight shines brighter on that player. And that's why I think Spurs fans last night started to turn on Sochan, started to turn on Devin Vassell. Because Devin Vassell is who he is.
He's all right.
He's never going to be better than what he is today.
Nah, he's all right.
He doesn't have that next level. And we, for so many years, last 5 seasons that we've had of Devin Vassell, we've been like, okay, he's going to break out. He's going to be a borderline all-star player. And he never will be.
Yeah.
He is who he is at a $29 million price point. Jeremy Sochan is who he is. He's not the next coming of Kawhi Leonard.
But they're going to fix his shot, Mike.
They're never going to fix his shot. That is the ugliest shot I've ever seen in my entire life. It's never going to be fixed. And if it does get fixed, then they're going to have to put a hand on him, a hand in his face, and guess what? He's going to struggle because of that.
Yeah.
So Spurs fans right now, I think, are turning on certain players. And I don't say they're turning. I think they're now understanding the limitations of what's there.
It's the realization is sitting in.
The realization setting in, and beyond all that, we look at Wemby and we think, man, we're already halfway through his first contract.
You know what? They believe that BS in the offseason, we hooping.
Right.
No, you're not. Not with this squad, dude.
We have expectations now. We have seen this Spurs team beat Denver on the road. We've seen this team beat Golden State. We've seen this team beat Oklahoma City. We've seen this team go toe-to-toe with Houston. We've seen this team play good teams, but then what have we also seen?
A lot of ugliness.
Losing to teams like the Sixers and the Bulls, and it's just we look at this and think to ourselves, how can a team that be good enough to go toe-to-toe with some of the best in the West lose to some mediocre team from the East? That is the thing, man. So who's to blame for a lot of this? We've blamed a little bit on Sochan. Remember, Joe, the record is Spurs are 18-18, right?
You're only as good as your record says you are.
When people saw my post on Twitter, they got a little bit frustrated because I had the spreadsheet. 9-5 with Jeremy Sochan on the team. 9-13 with him gone. I'm sorry. 9-5 with him gone. 9-13 with him on the court. Joe, the Spurs are a losing team with him out there. And I pointed this out from the get-go. 9-5 with him hurt. 9-13 with him on the court. I pointed this out from the get-go. And so many Spurs fans gave me crap about it because they were like, there's not it's just an anomaly. It's an anomaly. But when the sample size got bigger and bigger, when it went from, he was hurt for 3 games, he was hurt for 5 games, hurt for 10 games, and then we see him miss just 1 game in January, and the Spurs go out to Denver and beat Denver on the road. People look at that and now are like, okay, well, they'll never say this, Joe, but maybe Jimenez was right.
Nah. You know what? I can tell you one thing, and the numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah.
Stephon Castle, and you look at Jeremy Sochan. Jeremy Sochan played 27 minutes, only scored 11 points. Stephon Castle, 19 minutes, had 10 points, had 6 assists. Who's the better player?
Between the two, I would rather have Castle out there.
Exactly. Castle gets the ball moving, right?
Right.
He helps the team. He instantly makes them better. I bet you his plus-minus, when he's on the court, the Spurs are going to be in the plus.
Well, last night, the highest plus-minus the Spurs had last night was Stephon Castle. Okay? 19 minutes, as you said, 4 of 9 shooting. Here's the thing. I posted this on Twitter yesterday. I miss the days of having a Spurs starting lineup of Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Julian Champagnie, and Victor Wembanyama.
What were they doing?
Winning games.
Playing good.
I want Devin Vassell coming off the bench, giving us 15 points off the bench.
Yeah.
I want to see Jeremy Sochan come out and bring the energy, be the microwave as far as defense is concerned.
Johnson.
Not offensively, but bring it defensively. When the Spurs had that lineup, Joe, of Barnes, Wemby, CP3, Champagnie, and Castle, it was a balanced, cohesive starting five. And then when they saw these players coming back from injury, and he had Vassell with Sochan and Keldon out there, along with Bassie, Trey Jones, it was a balanced second unit, Joe. It was a balanced second unit. And guess what they were doing, Joe? They were winning games, man.
You know what they were doing too? They were actually winning games that they were falling behind on early, right? They were down by 10, 15, 19 points. And when you had that balance with that second unit, it allowed you to go ahead and, cut into that lead. And then in the third and fourth quarter, you would go ahead and really start making some headway. And then what happens? You start getting the lead. You sustain the lead. You're able to close out teams because you have balance on both your starting unit and the second unit.
Roy comes out to us on our YouTube stream, says Pop is back. It kind of feels like it.
He's calling.
It kind of feels like Mitch Johnson was doing his thing for the first few weeks, and he had his own rhythm going.
Yeah.
It almost feels like Pop is getting the strings.
Yeah, this is what Pop did. He picked up the phone and said, "You better fucking put that line out there that I want."
Yeah.
We're not trying to win.
And I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm not saying that that's not what happened, but it sure feels like it.
What did Coach Pop say? We're trying to win this thing, man.
Dude,
come on.
Mitch Johnson, when he came out, he and Brett Brown were kind of doing their thing, man. They were flying the ship, and it was a different lineups. It was pretty exciting.
And what did Coach Pop say? Hold my beer.
It feels like Pop is back on the bench. And guess what? Pop is not the right coach for this team.
And what are they doing? They're running the shitty lineups that don't do nothing.
The crappy lineups. Stephon Castle, now the 10th man on this team. F that.
He should be starting, dude.
Why did Trey Jones get in the game before Stephon Castle?
God, because he's a veteran player.
Veteran player. He's a second-round draft pick, man.
What did he do?
Charles Bassie got into the game before Castle. Bassie's an undrafted guy. Keldon Johnson, who, Keldon's Keldon, right? Dude, the best lineup the Spurs have out there is Barnes with Wemby and Champagnie, Castle, and CP3. That is the best lineup. We know it. We've seen it, man. We've seen it. It's all about analytics. And I came out as a big fan of Mitch Johnson because he was doing his thing. Dude, we are watching Pop 2.0 right now, and it's frustrating because a lot of people are on our YouTube stream going out right now saying, you can't have Devin Vassell come off the bench if he's your highest paid player. Well, screw that. Manu was off the bench. Manu was the second and third highest paid Spur. You can have that. Doesn't mean that you have to play him just 20 minutes. Have him come off the bench to spark things at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, the 5-minute mark of the third quarter, and be there down the stretch. Devin Vassell has an alpha mentality, which is you would want to have in certain players, right? But guess what, Devin? This is not your team.
Devin Vassell has an alpha mentality for a player who's not a superstar.
Exactly.
What does that tell you? That when he comes to, he makes these poor decisions in crunch time, throws the ball away, gets caught in no man's land inside the paint.
Yeah.
And what happens? Turnover. I'm like,
Alejandro reaches out and says, Devin is no longer a BMW. We were talking about this. The guy has terrible shooting percentage. He is a Kia Sorento. So, Joe, speaking of which, Devin Vassell yesterday, not to bag on the guy, he was 5 of 14, 1 of 7 from 3, right? So not a very good shooting night for Devin Vassell. I noticed yesterday that Vassell missed 2 layups in a row. And I kept thinking about it. I kept on going, wait, does he suck driving into the hole? I went on to NBA.com and I looked at his stats. Do you know what percentage of layups he makes?
Probably 5%.
Well, no one's going to make 5%. It's a layup, dude. If you look at a layup, A layup is a drive to the basket.
Yeah, it's
Lay it off the glass. You're a foot away, 2 feet away
All
at
right,
the
well,
most.
what you classify as good shooting percentage wise for layups? Probably around
60-70%.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, because I don't know the numbers to this.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know when Jeremy Sochan has the ball from 2 feet, MFer's gonna make it.
Yeah, money.
Money from 2 feet, right? It's like a pop-a shot, right?
Yeah.
He's money from 2 feet. And I'm gonna look it up during the show. But I looked up Devin Vassell's accuracy as a layup shooter. It was 51%.
He's all right.
That's not even that's a coin flip. You're telling me he only makes 51% of
You
layups?
know what we should do when we go to the game together next time? You see him driving to the lane, just flip the coin, Mike.
I'm gonna look up
Call
Jeremy Sochan's stats on layups, right? It might take me a minute or two.
Oh god.
But do we have any good comments today?
Yeah, let's get to the super chat here. This is Jason Garcia. Thank you, Jason. He's joining us from Portland, Oregon right now. He's saying, "Can I get a birthday grito?" First of all, happy birthday,
Happy
Jason.
45th, my man.
You successfully made another trip around the sun, brother. We appreciate you, man. So we're gonna go ahead and play the grito for him.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el
Happy birthday to Jason Garcia. You know, I asked the question, the percentage of layups, right, being made. And I noticed that Jeremy Sochan was out there making layups, but Devin Vassell was just clanking them off the glass. Jeremy Sochan has a 58% accuracy when it comes to layups. So I have never researched this topic before, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know if 58% is good or bad. I just know it's better than what Vassell does.
Damn, look at this, Mike. We got a hot income.
$25 super chat along
Wow.
with 41 cents. Says Mike Joe, look at my retweet about Jimmy Butler. CP3 says we need grit. We can get Butler for a bag of beans. YOLO, you only live once. Don't give me BS about you don't want to get rid of Barnes. Let's go do this and make a run. Drew Show, welcome back. Thank you so much for the $25 super chat. That's how it's done, Joe. That's how it's done. Jimmy Butler. Some of these superstars are out there. If there's anything that CP3 does that could be something that we've never seen another Spurs free agent do, it could be to attract a big name guy. Jimmy Butler is the quintessential game closer. You want a Jimmy Butler type of guy to close games.
He's money, dude. You can count on him in the fourth quarter.
The problem is that you got to match salaries to make that happen.
Who are you going to say bye to?
Yeah, so, you know, Jimmy Butler's contract right now, you don't have to necessarily match it all because if you have cap space, you can absorb some. But Jimmy Butler's making what? $48 million this year. So let's say the Spurs have to get rid of $40 million in cap space to make this happen, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to get rid of Devin Vassell. They're going to want to have some sort of talent there, right?
Keldon Johnson, maybe.
Keldon. Devin and Keldon make it happen. But you see these teams, they're not going to want to get rid of them for that. They're going to have to either attach a first-round draft pick to it or multiple ones. Keep in mind, it's a rental. Jimmy Butler's 35 years old. He's on the last year of his contract. So this would literally be a rental. Can the Spurs bring in a Jimmy Butler to make a run at the play-in? Now, if the Spurs were a 6 or 7 team right now, I'd say, yeah, you know, we have to entertain that idea. Let's go make a run.
They're number 10 right now in the West.
We're number 10. And the way that the play-in tournament works is 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10. The winner of 7-8 advances to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The loser plays the winner of 9-10.
Yeah, to get the 8.
So if the Spurs are the number 9 or the number 10 team, we have to go on the road and win 2 games on the road to make it to the playoffs. If we're the 9 seed, we have to win a home game and then go on the road to win a game to make it to the playoffs. So that's kind of how it works.
Currently constructed, do you trust this Spurs team to do that? No.
I think Brian Wright is so enamored by the word hope.
Like Superman. Come on.
Remember
man.
that first round draft pick we got from Charlotte?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that going to happen? It's going to turn into 2 second rounders because it's not going to convey this year. It is top 14 protected. And when we traded for that pick, I completely forgot who we traded for that. But the fact of the matter is we were all excited. We got a first-round draft pick. And then, oh, my God, it's top 14 protected. But it's going to convey in the next 3 years. It's got to.
No, Spurs
Never
fans
did.
want it to because they believe that the Bulls, they believe that the Hornets are going to be that bad, and it turns out they're not.
They're not. Chicago's pick is top 10 protected, which means the best we can do is 11 or better on it. Right now, Chicago's the 10th worst team in the NBA. So unless one team was to vault over them in the lottery, Chicago's holding on to that pick. Atlanta's at 500. Spurs are at 500. We thought, Atlanta's going to suck. And then when they got rid of DeJounte Murray, right?
Yeah.
Trae Young's going to miss games because he always does.
Sachet.
Guess what? Trae Young hasn't missed much of time. Trae Young is having the healthiest season he's had
Yeah.
in a long, long time. Trae Young this year has played 34 games.
God.
He's basically played them all. The Hawks right now sitting there with an 18-18 record. He's played 34 of the 36 games. We have another super chat coming in from
Drew Show.
$11. My man, open the wallet, my man. He's
making it rain.
Making it rain today. Says, quote, I knew I'd get some Mike bullshit Butler on this team. Makes this team no way a play-in team. You're not watching the West teams are following Butler on this team. We are a top 4. Stop capping, Mike. Okay, so basically he's saying that adding Jimmy Butler to this team makes us a top 4 team. Well, let's look at the standings, Joe. How far are the Spurs away from certain things? So here's the weird thing about the West. The West is so jammed right now that the Spurs are half a game away from being out of the play-in tournament. Sacramento's just sitting there at 18 and 19.
Oh, he's back.
But we're 2 games away from being in the top 6. So
Matt
it's
Lerma's
interesting.
entered the chat.
So is Jimmy Butler? So let's look at a Spurs lineup there of Jimmy Butler, right? Let's say the Spurs have out there CP3, 39-year-old CP3. He'll be 40 by the time playoffs come around.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler at 35. Wemby, Barnes, maybe Sochan if he's not part of the trade. Is that a top 5 lineup right there?
Maybe.
I mean, it's better than what we got now.
Better. They have veteran experience.
Who would you
People know
rather
how to
have right
win.
now? Devin Vassell or Jimmy Butler?
I'd rather have Butler, bro. What is Jimmy Buckets? What does he have proven that he can do? What do winners do? Win.
Yeah.
Vassell, he ain't it, bro. I've been telling people this, they don't want to listen. Now they're seeing it for themselves and they're turning on the team.
Now, Jimmy Butler this season for the Miami Heat has played 22 games. He's averaging 17.6 points per game, which is the lowest he has done since 2014. However, he's shooting 55% from the field and 38% from 3. He's also averaging 5.5 rebounds and 5 assists. He really reminds me of a more clutch DeMar DeRozan.
True.
Okay. So if you want to add Jimmy Butler as a rental, it'd be interesting to see what it would be like to have a superstar, even an aging one, next to Wemby. Because I know we could say CP3 is a superstar, but CP3 is 40 years old, 39 years old, right? No guard in NBA history has ever played 20 seasons. He's the first one to ever do it.
Yeah.
So to pair Wemby with that depends on the cost. The trade machine's going to say that we need to give up 40 some odd million in salary, which means Vassell gone.
Well,
Because you can't package. They're not going to take 5 of our players.
they're not going to. And let's Spurs fans, they're like, well, let's give them Collins. They ain't going to want Collins. Who's going to want Collins? Name a team right now that will take Collins.
Dude, you know how UTSA looks for NIL money? I think the city of San Antonio would rather raise money to get Collins out of town. If there was such a thing, I think we should GoFundMe for him to have, airfare out of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Zach Collins has, when he threw the middle finger a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
you knew his head's no longer there.
He
has no confidence.
What was the worst signing? Was it him or what's his name? Richard Jefferson.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that. So, they can go ahead and do it Rasa style, Mike. They can have a plate sale.
Right.
Let's get him out of here.
Yeah, Drew Show's coming up and saying, hey, well, you have Keldon and you've got Devin Vassell. You need to have a willing trade partner on the other side. And the trade partner on the other side might not want that particular player. They might want a contract that's expiring. The contract that they may want is Trey Jones. Trey Jones, who makes $10 million this year, it's an expiring deal. They might want Trey Jones instead.
Get him out of here. Gone.
Keldon has a very good contract for a team.
Yeah.
16, 17 million for a couple more seasons. It's actually decreasing every
Yep,
year.
Exactly.
So Keldon is a player that would be that teams would absorb, right? So if you're to say by just pure talent, Keldon Johnson, Trey Jones for the ability to max out to get his deal out, then you had to give him a young player. Maybe that player is Sochan. Maybe that player is I don't want it to be Castle for a rental. I don't even want it to be Sochan for a rental. Joe, before off air, Joe and I we talk about Sochan, right?
Yeah.
And I'm nicer with you about Sochan when we're just talking privately.
Yeah.
We know that he's going to join a good team at some point and be very good.
Oh man, we talked about that off air. I said, look, can you imagine Sochan going with like let's say a Bucks team, or going with
the Knicks.
the Knicks, going with the Celtics, the Lakers?
His skill set is ideal for having shooters around him who can disguise and mask his inefficiencies,
shortcomings, yeah.
his shortcomings offensively. So if the Spurs go off and he ends up going to Boston and just becomes a 3-time champion, all that stuff, it's not because he would have done that over here. It's because it's a better situation for him.
Yeah, he has better talent around him.
On a team without the shooters that you need, his inefficiencies, his shortcomings become greater.
Yeah.
Because, okay, let's talk about defensively. Is he a good defender? Yeah, he's good.
He's all right.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's above average. Let's stop with the whole he's a lockdown defender, because he's not. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. He's above average. He is a B+ defender, which is not a diss. He is a B+ defender.
But on this Spurs team, he looks elite as a defender, right?
Right. He looks elite. And part of it could be because Wemby's there, being a no-fly zone around him.
Yeah.
Take Wemby out of the equation. Is he still a very good defender? Well, maybe above average. So I'm not dissing his defensive abilities, but let's not say that he's a lockdown defender, because I heard this crap for a long time. He's a lockdown defender who can, guard multiple positions. No, he can't. You ever seen Sochan try to guard a 2-guard? Ain't happening, dude. They run right by him. Murray and all those guys.
Look what happened when
they all run right by him.
He locked down Doncic, right? Doncic
One
Luka,
time. And then Luka just went and spanked his ass the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Figured him out, right?
Yeah.
He is not a lockdown defender. He's a good defender. Not lockdown. He's good. Okay? Sub nights, he's very good, but he's not a lockdown guy. And you see his shooting 5 for 7, right? Those are all just putbacks. Those are all wide open shots. They're giving him the ball. Dude, when the Bulls saw Sochan shoot that 3 with 3 minutes to go in the game that barely clanked off the rim,
yeah,
you know what they were doing? They were celebrating.
Yeah.
That's the guy we want shooting the ball.
Exactly.
And then Devin Vassell kicking the ball out to Sochan. What is Sochan doing at the 3-point line to begin with? Get your ass down low.
Yeah. I like the comments, man. Tyus Jones cooks up Sochan.
Trey's brother. So Gilbert comes out and says, Spurs are a 500 team, nothing more, nothing less. At 500, that's great. But still only a 500 team. I don't get frustrated yet. I will get frustrated next year when we have real expectations.
Okay, well, let's put it like this. Yeah, Wemby, how long is he going to be here on his rookie contract?
Well, Wemby will be with the Spurs for 8 years.
No, but I'm saying his rookie contract is going to expire soon.
He's got 2 more years after this.
Right.
So basically the way that it works is that Wemby has a 4-year contract,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the Spurs have team options, and obviously they're going to exercise them. Then he becomes a restricted free agent, which means the Spurs just have to match what he gets, and he's going to get the max someplace else. But he can get the super max with San Antonio that he can't get elsewhere. So he's going to be with this team for 4 more years after that, right? The question becomes, I hear all this stuff about, well, he's going to be with this team for 8 years. Not necessarily. If he wants out, he can get out.
Yep, he can.
He can force his way out at some point if he wants to. Everyone has, and I say everyone, I'm talking about Spurs fans, believe that all of these players are in the mold of Tim, Tony, and Manu.
They're not.
They're not, man. He is not Duncan. He's not Robinson. There's been the biggest superstar the Spurs have ever had in franchise history is Victor Wembanyama, because he's global. I would say domestically, it's probably George Gervin.
Yeah.
Right. Iceman.
No Timmy.
No, Timmy was never a superstar. He was an all-star. He's an all-time great.
He's a two-time MVP, man.
He was never a superstar,
man.
dude. You could what? Because he was in Sprite and HEB commercials. He was never a superstar because he didn't want to be a superstar.
Dude,
Is Nikola Jokic? It's a 3-time MVP. Is he a superstar? No.
He's an NBA champion, though.
NBA champion, 3-time MVP. Right?
You say he's the best player in the league.
He's the best
not a superstar,
and that's the problem. He's not a superstar. When was the last time you saw a commercial with Nikola Jokic?
Dude, he ain't marketable. Look at that.
He ain't
face,
marketable
bro.
for crap.
Look at that face.
Tim Duncan wasn't marketable for crap either. The only good commercial he had was that one where he's with David Robinson about what's out of bounds, the daisies or the roses.
No.
And there's the gnome right there. Duncan was never a superstar. He's a superstar talent. He is an all-time great, arguably one of the top 5 players of NBA history, the greatest power forward of all time. It's not a diss on his talent, but he was never a star. Who are the stars in the NBA right now, Joe? Because I think that's the problem with the NBA right now. If LeBron James is your biggest star and Steph Curry, both either 40 or 36 years old, that's a problem.
You could say shy.
Dude, I haven't seen SGA in a commercial.
No, they ain't gonna be on no commercials. The thing
Who's
is,
the biggest star? Devin Booker because he's banging a Jenner?
No, he ain't even with her no more.
I know.
He kicked her ass to the curb, bro.
So, well, at least he was, right?
Yeah.
Who's a superstar? I'm trying to think about it because you look at the All-Star list of names, right? The 10 names out there. A lot of them are old. And okay, we talked about how
no AD, no Ant-Man.
Victor Wembanyama is the 10th biggest vote getter in the NBA All-Star game right now, right? Which means there's 9 above him. They included old names like LeBron James, right? An all-time great, but he's 40 years old. They included Anthony Davis. LaMelo Ball could be that next guy. LaMelo Ball has more All-Star votes than Wemby.
Look at Jesse A.
Mike said he was just a guy. When it came to marketing, he was just a guy.
You know what he would have been a great spokesmodel for? Jinko jeans, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, you know.
The NBA needs a superstar, and that superstar is going to be Victor Wembanyama. But the question is, can San Antonio, as a city, as a franchise, as a fan base, take that?
No.
Because Wemby has yet to do something. And it's going to happen. And Spurs fans are going to freak out the day that it does. He has not spoken his mind yet. He has not said he's been a good guy. He's being coachable and all that stuff. But there will come a time and place when this guy goes, I'm running this team. I'm the captain now.
Yeah.
And if you think that he's going to have the whole, oh, shucks, Tim Duncan, I'm willing to be yelled at type of thing, superstars don't do that. Superstars don't get yelled at. You think Shaq and Kobe got yelled at?
No.
Do you think Jordan got yelled at?
No, but you know what's going to happen with Wemby? He's going to have his Kawhi moment. Remember we said we always make fun of that song, right? From 3 Doors Down. If I could be like that.
If I could be like that.
What happened with Kawhi when he went to that All-Star game and he saw all the other superstars,
right,
and limousines and living the nice life? He says, "I want that for me."
Well, we got the pearl, baby. We got the pearl.
Oh my man, the pearl.
You can be happy in San Antonio because here's the thing: the best players in the NBA right now happen to be playing in small markets, which is probably a bad thing for the NBA, right? I mean, I know Boston has Tatum and Brown, right? But you look at Giannis in Milwaukee, you see Jokic in Denver, and you see Wemby in San Antonio, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in Oklahoma City. That's a problem for the NBA, but F them. That's how the ping pong balls bounced, right?
Yeah, I bet you in 2-3 years, you know who's going to be on this team? A lot of different faces. Jeremy Sochan gone, Vassell gone, Keldon Johnson gone. You're going to have Trey Jones gone. You're probably only going to have Wemby. You'll have Stephon Castle. And hopefully at this point in time, you're going to have a better cast of character around Wemby. They need to build around him. The guys they have right now, it just ain't going to do it, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can't say, oh, this is a young team. They're not young anymore, man. A lot of these players that they say are young, they're what, in their 3rd year, 4th year already? Come on, dude.
All I know is the youngest team in basketball last season was not the Spurs. It was OKC Thunder.
And where are they?
Devin Vassell he's still a young guy. He's still 24 years old, but he's been in the league for 5 years.
Yeah.
He's on his second contract. And I hate the fact that people come up to me and go, he's just 19. He's just 20. He's just 21. This isn't the 80s and 90s anymore, where they go to college for 3 or 4 years, come into the NBA at 21, 22 years old, and 3 or 4 years in, they're in their mid-20s, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. They're already at the end of their contract. That's why I give shit to Sochan.
Mario Cavazos. Wemby is leaving because San Antonio is a poor city.
That might not be an inaccurate statement.
Oh, man.
Gilbert saying he's been a Devin Vassell fan for a long time, but he's okay with the Spurs parting ways with him if it comes to it. So I'm good with keeping Keldon. See, here's the thing about Keldon. Spurs fans have a love-hate relationship with him.
Yeah.
We love him as a person. We're frustrated as a fan because there's some days when he's out of control, bull in a china shop.
Yep.
But there's some days where he's the only one bringing fire. That game Saturday when the Spurs went into overtime and lost to Denver at the Frost Bank Center, Keldon seemed to be the only one trying down the stretch.
Yeah, the other guy.
Only one hustling.
Yeah.
JCA coming out saying, welcome to the poor area 210 podcast. At least we're not Laredo, dude. At least we're not Laredo. Why do I got to take a dump on Laredo?
Always have to go and take a stab at the valley, bro. Why? Like, you hate El Paso, you don't like Laredo.
I have no
I'm
beef
like,
with El Paso.
come
El Paso's
on,
an interesting town, man. It's a town of like 500,000 people swallowed up by a 2 million city of what is that? What's across from El Paso again?
I don't know. You go over New Mexico, man.
Not Matamoros. Matamoros is down south.
No, you're talking about what? They're in the mountains and stuff over there, dude.
Why? I cannot believe it's Juarez.
Juarez, Mexico?
Yeah, I remember going to Juarez back in the day with my family. Going shopping at the Pulga over there.
Hey, man, that's where you buy those fireworks to blow your hand off, bro.
Dude, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 31-4.
Jeez, man.
And why is it that no one believes that they're going to win at all? Everyone looks at the Celtics at 26-10 and is like, yeah, that's going to be the team. An 886 winning percentage times 82 games. They're on track to win 73 games, and no one's talking about it.
You know, because they know their fools go at the end. They're going to go into the playoffs, and they're going to get bounced.
They're 18-1. 18-1 at home. Dude, Cleveland is 10-0 against the Western Conference. I don't know. Oklahoma City's 30-5. 7 games. Oklahoma City has a 7-game lead over the number 2 seed, Houston Rockets. Houston is closer to the Spurs in the standings than they are, which is the 10 seed, than they are to the 1 seed that's above them.
God.
Damn, Oklahoma City's good. Dude, Josh Giddey plays for the Bulls. I completely forgot, man.
Yeah, you saw that brother yesterday.
I was like, oh my God. Like, I remember that guy. He was pretty good until everyone realized he was a groomer.
Yeah, dude.
And it's kind of hard to say that because he's a young guy himself. So it's not like he's like super older than the gals that he was chasing after. But still, man, 17-17, 16-16, you stay away from that crap.
They said Laredo isn't part of the valley.
That's true. Laredo's part of Mexico.
And look at this. Laredo is Ross and San Antonio is upscale cheapskate.
Oh yeah. Oh, first of all, we need to go there, Joe.
Really?
I love it's Uptown Cheapskate.
Uptown, okay.
Uptown Cheapskate. That's over on they have one right next to Flying Saucer on Heebner Oaks, and they have one right next to the Home Depot over here in Alamo Ranch. God, I love that place, Joe. I love that place.
Space City Jimenez.
I don't. It is what it is, dude. I got a good girl, man. My girlfriend over there is amazing. Yeah, but she's not in Space City, dude. She is in Conroe. But here's the thing. Doesn't have a favorite NBA team. She says that she cheers for the Spurs. Her daughter says she cheers for the Spurs. So there you go.
Look at Midtown Texas, El Paso.
It's Melrose. You know what? Since we did the analogies yesterday of the Cars and the Spurs, right? We have to give San Antonio and Houston and all that. San Antonio, and I never said San Antonio was goodwill. Whoever said that was a lying sack of crap. I have said San Antonio is the Kohl's of stores. We're Kohl's.
Yeah.
You know, you can find some good stuff, you know, but more often than not, it's just mid. You know, you can wear your Sonoma brand shirts. Sonoma is what they sell over there. If you want to say the word JCPenney, I could do that too.
JCPenney.
You find some decent stuff, but most of it's mid. You know, if you're gonna go to like Macy's is like Austin. Well, no, Austin's more of a trendier one, right? You know, it's more of a Abercrombie and Fitch is Austin, right? Which makes Neiman Marcus Houston or maybe Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is Neiman Marcus.
And then I would say that would that make what's that other one? Not Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's. Houston is Nordstrom's.
Okay.
Right? Corpus is Bell's.
No, bro. Corpus is Falas Perez. Dude.
You know, that's Del Rio.
Damn, you always taking stabs at Laredo, Del Rio.
What is
El
Waco?
Paso.
What is Waco?
There ain't nothing in Waco, dude. You blink and you went through it like 3 minutes. You drive through Waco.
Okay, so San Angelo is Cavender Boot City, right?
Yeah.
Which I like Cavender's. You ever go to Cavender's recently?
No, it's nice, dude.
Dude, I will say this, and maybe it's the influence that my girlfriend has because she lives in East Texas.
Yeah.
Like, I hated back in the day when, like, you know, they had Wranglers and certain Levi cuts.
Yeah.
I hated those jeans, dude. They were awful. But Ariat, dude, the that brand is getting bigger and bigger over the years. They got some good stuff, dude. Even the shirts don't seem so poserish, right? Like when I go to the rodeo, I don't feel as much of a poser wearing an Ariat shirt. But like Wrangler, I kind of feel like a poser.
With Wrangler?
Yeah, maybe it's because Yellowstone came out and it brought out the cowboy in all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but without the pointy shoes. Because I even asked you, Joe, would you wear the pointy shoes? And what you said to me? Nah. You know why?
Pass, dude.
Why? Too ethnic.
Oh, no, man. That ain't my style, bro. Look at that. West Bear County is Lululemon outlet.
Lululemon would probably, I mean, that's a good one for Austin. No, I like Abercrombie and Fitch for Austin.
And look at Sam Salinas. Have you been to any Macy's in San Antonio lately?
They've all gotten ghetto. That's why I didn't say it. Cavender Boot City is Fort Worth. It's Fort Worth.
Oh, God.
I like this.
Man, we're on a roll, dude. Yesterday we compared the Spurs players to freaking cars, and now we're comparing the Texas cities to stores.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
So what are we gonna say? Kohl's or JCPenney? Which is more San Antonio? Because that's really the sweet spot, Joe.
I like this one. Dark Aeons. Waco is 5-minute oil change.
Dude, Waco is only good for one thing, or actually two things: cults and it being close to really good kolaches. You ever go to that the kolache place right past Waco, like at Hillsboro?
Yeah.
Oh, that place is good, dude. Those desserts.
We make fun of Waco, dude, but it's been coming up, dude. They have a lot of little businesses right there on the access roads now.
So what is Brownsville, Joe? Because Brownsville, here's the thing about Brownsville.
Hell, dude.
Brownsville is like, okay, well, it's border town, but it's also really close to South Padre Island. So it has like this area here that's very beachy, that is very, you know, as one area that you want to go to. Because when I say South Padre Island, Brownsville and South Padre Island are the same place, dude.
Yeah.
They're the exact same place. Kind of a weird mix there.
You know what it could be classified as? Target. A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not quite Walmart.
Is Walmart like Eagle Pass?
Yeah, I would say so, bro.
No. Eagle Pass is Walmart after midnight.
Oh, when it was open 24/7?
When it was open 24 hours?
Ooh, bro. That's when all the weirdos will come out, dude.
Mexican Junior coming out and saying Brownsville is Fiesta grocery store. Now, there's a difference between Fiesta grocery and La Fiesta, right? Because La Fiesta is what I'm talking about. He's also saying that West Texas, that's the city. where the kolaches are from. That's what I was talking about there. Fantastic, man. Montgomery Wards does not exist. Pour one out, RIP. But dude, Montgomery Wards and Sears back in the day, Joe, those places had everything. You know, they had a tire center. They had you could get your photos taken there. They had clothes, they had electronics. It was the most weird store. It was like a hodgepodge of like 5 different stores.
Same thing with Super Kmart. Remember the one that used
Super
to be
K?
right here?
Yeah,
Now what is it called? It's that pizza place, Incredible Pizza.
Incredible Pizza.
Yeah, it used to be the
That's
Super
right.
Kmart.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it used to be Super Kmart.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who's super what they do? Our
Who?
good friends at MCS General Contracting. You're wearing the hat right now.
Yeah, man. Let's give some
Diamond Hard
love.
Concrete.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Hey man, Diamond Hard Concrete. They do a fantastic job. They did a sidewalk for me. They did a back patio for me, extension. Amazing. They had some stair steps along the way. And man, if you need to have a parking lot done, a slab to a building, swimming pool, tennis court, pickleball court, basketball court, give them a call, 774-9155. Dude, I like the comments that we had right here. We had some people commenting, Tex-Mex Frank saying that he will not accept any slander from Eagle Pass about Eagle Pass from a man who wears the Lululemon label. Okay, first of all, Joe, I've brought out some Lululemon
It's nice,
clothes,
dude.
and you felt the material. What did you say?
Hey, it's kind of soft.
It's kind of
pretty good.
It's kind of nice.
Even Spernandez, Rick, right?
Yeah,
He wears Lululemon.
retired United States Marine Corps. You know,
Yeah.
war hero.
What?
Coming out, war vet.
Lululemon.
He's like, dude, I got Lulus.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now, I do like what Midtown Texas has to say. It says Eagle Pass is the Culebra Meat Market. Dude, the Culebra Meat Market on Petrenko Road, the one by my house, because I live off of Tally and Petrenko. They look good. They remodeled that one in like a matter of days, dude. How is it that it takes like 6 months for a house to go up, but a McDonald's and a Culebra Meat Market can go up in 3 days? But it is nice, Joe. The flooring's nice. It's well lit.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. It's because, us Mexicanos don't mess around, dude. We go in there. We mean business. Take care of business, dude. Just do it quick.
The best tortillas that you can buy to take home and just warm up.
Culebra Meat
Culebra
Market.
Meat Market. I mean, everyone says HEB.
Nah,
HEB's okay.
HEB's
It's okay. It's okay.
aight.
It's okay. It's okay. It's above average when it comes to it because it's like you go to Walmart, you can go to like Kroger in
Yeah,
Houston
you
or
get
whatever.
Those Mission tortillas.
Mission tortillas, you get all that crap. That's bad. So I'm not gonna slander HEB tortillas. HEB tortillas are kind of like Jeremy Sohan's defense. It's good. It's good. Not great. It's good. You go to Culebra Meat Market, pull in, go. They make them on the spot, Joe.
Yeah, they do.
And then you warm them up. Oh my God, those are good.
They're already warm when you get them right out of the bag, dude. When you
Yeah.
go in, they make them fresh and you touch the bag and it's hot. You're like, this is the one.
And even if you put them in the fridge for a few days, they come out perfect. One thing I noticed about visiting East Texas a lot, my girl out there in Conroe, I go over there one weekend, she comes over here one weekend, and we're doing that thing, right? 6 months already of that. I have noticed that the people in that part of the state warm up tortillas differently than what I'm used to.
What do? They
use the comal.
Yeah.
Do you use the comal?
Yeah, use a comal.
You
Or
know-
just throw the tortilla right on the fire.
Well, right. See, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I got my Culebra Meat Market, my HEB tortillas, even if it's a Mission one, gross. You put it on the fire, you flip it over.
Yeah.
I think that most San Antonians have no sense of feeling right here on
Yeah.
the forefinger and the thumb because we've been flipping tortillas for our entire lives, right?
You put your hand right over the flame. No me pasa nada.
Yeah, no big deal. But they use the comal. Like everybody's using the comal. And it comes, dude, it's better off the fire. That's going to be a poll question today.
Yeah.
Do you warm up your tortillas using a comal or do you start using or just put it right on the flame.
Yeah, right on the flame, dude.
Midtown Texas saying East Texas doesn't have carne guisada. They have different types of Mexican food there. So there's some that's Tex-Mex, and then they have some that do the actual Mexican food. I have not seen the California Mexican food. California Mexican food that has like the burritos and all that stuff.
That's all it is in Cali, dude. They do a lot of burritos. They even have one over here, right down Petranco. You know where right here off of Petranco, right in front of the Pirates Cove.
Yeah.
How they have, what's it called? Dutch Brothers.
Yeah.
And that little parking lot there.
They have
a Californian one. It's called Señor Burro.
Really?
And all they do is serve nothing but burritos.
I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Tex-Mex Frank coming out and says, if you have a gas stove, you can skip the comal to reheat. The char marks. No, shut up.
Hey. It's just like when you throw a tortilla on the grill.
Yeah.
Outside when you're cooking with your boys, you're giving them some carne off the meat off the grill. You just throw the tortilla on there. It comes out great.
So we have Jesse A saying, comal, you get more even heating across the tortilla. Over fire, you get a cold middle or end. So then you're just doing it wrong, man. You don't have a big enough of a flame. Sean Quintero says, Mike uses vegan tortillas. I would suggest that my panza says otherwise. Dude, I gained 5 pounds over the holidays, and it pisses me off, Joe. It's a solid 5 pounds. I lost 25. I gained 5 of it back. It's
so the
pissing me off.
manteca.
Dude, it was all the tamales. Dude, the HEB tamales, have you ever had those?
Yeah. Mi tienda.
Yeah, the mi
all right.
tienda. They're all right, but
All right.
there was one that my girlfriend and I got last week. We were just, going up and down the HEB aisle. And they have one that is cheese. Like a cheese tamale. It's the Oaxaca cheese with, I don't know what the meat is. It's not a ground beef.
Probably chicken.
Chicken. The chicken with a Oaxaca cheese, dude, that's the best one they have. I've tried all of them. I'm not saying that mi tienda is like, delicious tamales is better, and so is Delia's. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you go to HEB, the chicken with the Oaxaca cheese, that's the best one of all of them.
Okay.
And only that, when you took a bite out of it, Joe, it was kind of like a cheese stick. The cheese would kind of like come out. Woo wee. Joe.
That's how you knew it was a winner.
That's how I knew, baby.
They said the taco burrito line. Look it up. It's a real thing. Everywhere south of Waco. It's breakfast tacos. North of Waco, it's burritos.
I know. And I go to California a lot, Joe. Those SoCal burritos.
Yeah.
I mean, they're freaking huge. We see that here at Las Palapas. They had the Oki.
Yeah.
Right? The Oki had that big old burrito with the enchilada sauce on top and all that. I used to go to that. I used to do that all the time. But over there in California, they'll do like all sorts of weird things, like eggs with French fries and refried beans and cheese.
Yeah.
And you're like, this sounds gross. And then take a bite of it, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like I'm gonna write home about it. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. They even Rick was telling us all the stuff that they do in Cali when it comes to the burritos and all that in the morning, because they really don't have breakfast tacos over there.
Mm-hmm.
Telling you, man, if we were to go ahead and go in business, Mike, we set up a little, food truck or something right there in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Man, be selling like hotcakes, dude.
So there is my family lives in either Whittier or Brea or La Mirada, California, which is southeast Los Angeles. And there's a store that's right there that I would go to. I'd walk over there, maybe about a mile away, and it's a convenience store. It's a little mom and pop convenience store. The only place I know in California that has Big Red.
Jeez. I already find Big Red outside of Texas, man.
I know. Big Red was featured on The Big Bang Theory. And I have a friend of mine who is worked for Big Red, or worked for the state and advertising and stuff like that. Got Big Red on the show because Sheldon Cooper is from East Texas, right? The character.
Mm-hmm.
So he would want to have his own drink, and they made Sheldon Cooper a Big Red drinker. Does that mean Sheldon liked barbacoa?
Maybe.
Joe, if you have barbacoa, do you need to have Big Red with it, or do you just have it with coffee, or what do you have it with?
No, man, I probably have Big Red with it. Big Bread and barbacoa is a
goes with
staple,
it.
man. Okay,
let me ask you a question. My girlfriend and I were debating this the other day. Also, her mom was talking about this as well, so we were kind of going to different restaurants. back in the day, birria wasn't a thing.
No.
Why is it like everywhere now? Like people are all these restaurants are like advertising. We got birria here. We got we got it here. We got it here. We got it here. Now serving birria.
You know what it is? It's the advent of TikTok and Instagram. Everybody showing that style of taco. People like that. It's all right. I mean, if it's done good, it tastes great. But most of the time, it's just for show. It looks good, but then you take a bite of it and you're like, it's all right.
So here's the thing, Joe. Have fajitas passed their prime?
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day seeing commercials and signs for sizzling fajitas. For we have the best fajitas in town and lots of. I don't see that anymore. It's all birria here, there, everywhere.
Yeah, the skillet. That's what used to bring the fajitas out on the skillet,
So dramatic, right?
Yeah. Shh. Everybody passing through, everybody going, when the waiter's going through the tables, trying to get to the table to serve, you're smelling it and you're like, it smells good.
And everyone was like, crap, I should have ordered fajitas.
Because they would give you the beef and the chicken with all the trimmings and everything, with the tortilla and everything. It's the presentation,
I would think of the movie Office Space, where you have that dorky white waiter who comes up and goes, would you like some jalapeno poppers or maybe some sizzling fajitas? I don't know why I think of him sometimes when it comes to that.
God.
My favorite fajitas, though, and it's not like that's the best restaurant in the world, but there's a restaurant. Oh my God, what is it? It's in Helotes, out where the hill country starts. It's like it has a Roadrunner logo. I'm a big fan of their fajitas, dude. Let's see here. It's called El Chaparral. Okay. They also have one in Bernie. Pretty good place. I mean, it's kind of expensive. They have bean soup. When you walk in the door, they give you bean soup.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. Let's get some love to our good friend, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Today on Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia has Matt Guzman of SI on talking about Victor Wembanyama, whether he's an MVP candidate already. And he just posted on Twitter. Did I just hear Mike Jimenez say that Tim Duncan was not a superstar because he didn't get commercials? Yeah, I said that. You're a superstar. Superstar on the court, superstar off the court.
God.
You know who was a superstar? Chris Paul was at some point. He was one of the best point guards of all time.
Doing the State Farm.
Dudes all over State Farm.
Yeah.
You know?
What was his twin? Cliff Paul.
Cliff Paul.
Yeah.
That's right. Then he had some post-game interviews with some of the Spurs players after the Spurs blew a 19-point lead last night to the Chicago Bulls. Also has a post from John Hollinger, who is a big-time writer for NBA News, talking about how Miami is 17-16, $15 million over the luxury tax line, owes first-round draft picks in 2025 and 2027 that can become unprotected a year later. Talking about how Miami is in the market to get rid of Jimmy Butler. They have to get rid of him. Also, there was this conversation piece about how rumors that Chris Paul III wants De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio. I know a lot of Spurs fans are like, oh, we don't need De'Aaron Fox. I don't think they realize how good he is.
You think he's better than Devin Vassell?
Oh, 100 times better.
Why wouldn't they want him?
Right. I mean, it's about talent, right?
Yeah. Can he close out a game?
Dude, I don't care if Spurs players are great people or not. I just want them to win.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we talk about the Spurs players being great and all that stuff and good people. Dude, Tony Parker was a dick. Just ask Brent Barry. Just because he was a good-looking guy, ask Eva Longoria. Just because they smile and all that stuff. And, dude, We don't know these players, man. We don't know if they're good guys or not
Yeah.
because they say that they do HEB commercials or do Sprite commercials or Taco Bell commercials or Taco Cabana commercials back in the day. We don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Come on.
My
get the hell out of here.
favorite Tony Parker story is the one I told you when he was waiting at that bar in River Center, right across from River Center, waiting for his wife, Eva
Yeah.
Longoria, because she was hanging out with Eva Mendes.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Tony, look who it is. He looks at her straight in the eye. I don't like that beach. Oh.
But De'Aaron Fox as a Spur, sign me up, dude. De'Aaron Fox is the truth, man. It's just one of those things where Sacramento has had one of those issues where you get draft picks, you get top draft picks, and you have to ask yourself the question.
Locked on Spurs is
You have to ask
slippery
yourself,
finger Joe.
no problem. Hey now. You ask yourself the question, do you get the best player on the board or do you get the player that fits, a need?
Yeah.
And they kept on getting the best player on the board, which meant that they had too many point guards on the team. That's just simply what happened.
Yeah.
So De'Aaron Fox is on the way out. I want him.
What would be the asking price?
I don't know. Let's see what his contract is. De'Aaron Fox contract right now. It's not bad, Joe. He's under contract for this season and next season. So he's got a year and a half left on this deal. Makes $37 million next year.
Yeah.
Becomes an unrestricted free agent after that. Sign an extension. $37 million for his type of play is not bad, dude. De'Aaron Fox, it's because he plays for a team like Sacramento that people don't realize how good he is. De'Aaron Fox right now averaging 26.7 points per game, Joe. Last year, he averaged 27 points per game with 37% shooting from three. Also averaged 5 assists and 5 rebounds. People don't realize he's this good, Joe. For a career, averaging 22 points. For a career, averaging 6 assists. The guy is a stud. But you know why people don't realize that? And Spurs fans don't realize that? Because he plays in Sacramento, which is an even smaller market than San Antonio.
Yeah.
If De'Aaron Fox played for the Knicks, he'd be a star.
You see, to me, he screams San Antonio Spur.
He's 27.
Make it happen, man. Get rid of Devin Vassell. Get rid of Sochan, Keldon Johnson. Throw in some picks. Do what you got to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this team ain't it, dude. This is what's going to happen at the end of the year when the dust is settled and Spurs fans had these delusions of grandeur.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going to go into the play and you watch. They're going to make the playoffs. You watch. The dust settles and they have 35 to 38 wins. I'll still be here.
Yeah, and I've heard this before that Fox's wife does have ties to San Antonio. I believe she's from here.
Yeah.
Mike Jimenez, Tim Gonzalez says, you know who the next superstar is. It's Cooper Flag. I mean, it's all right.
He's overhyped, dude.
I think so too.
He's as good as advertised, man.
I mean, I think he's going to be a good player.
He's all right. Yeah.
He's not going to be like a savior of a team. He's all right. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Jeff Garcia, man, he's trying to rag on me already. Speaking of our sponsors, if you want to sponsor this show, reach out to Joe.
Yeah.
Send him a line on Twitter, DM, or whatever the case may be. We can, depends on what you want to do. We could not only mention your business. If you want us to go visit your business, show videos of your business,
Do a remote.
let us know. Do a remote out there. And it doesn't have to be a sponsorship as an ongoing thing. It could be a one-time deal where we go over to your business and set up shop and do the show from there. That is very possible as well. In fact, I have a company that is interested right now, and I need to go visit them in the next couple of days or so.
Yeah.
They do cryotherapy.
Oh, yeah. You were telling me about that.
Yeah, I've been late on the game on that because I've been all over the place. But to be honest with you, if you want cryotherapy right now, just go walk outside.
It's cold.
Greg answered the question, why did Castle minutes get cut? I think because Pop got on the phone.
Yep. He probably called Mitch Johnson and said, you better put that boy in that second unit. Limit those minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a rookie. You know what we do with rookies.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guess who's getting himself a job?
Oh.
Zeke Elliott.
Oh, my. I saw that, dude.
Zeke Elliott is now a member of the Los Angeles Chargers just in time for the playoffs. Chargers are assigning him to their practice squad pending a physical today. Cowboys waived Zeke earlier this month. He had missed some meetings and whatnot. He just didn't want to be there anymore. He had lost his job to Rico Dowdle. So looks like apparently the Chargers have had some injuries to the running back core. He was available. Again, Joe, if our life depended on it and the ball's at the 1 yard line, even to this day, I would take Zeke. He's a suck-ass running back, but he can smell the end zone. He's elite from 3 feet in. He's the Jeremy Sochan of running backs. From 3 feet in, money.
Oh, God.
You see where I went there, Joe?
Jeremy Sochan. I like
He's the
it.
Jeremy Sochan of running backs.
Yeah.
Joe, did you see what was it? I was laughing at let me see if I can find it here. What's his name? Oh my God. Billy Madison. He was in Billy Madison, SNL guy.
Adam Sandler.
And Adam Sandler. I was saying Sandberg because I was thinking of the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I cannot believe I forgot that. Adam Sandler, who, by the way, I have a love-hate relationship with Adam Sandler, right? But I saw this. This was kind of funny. If we can show this, let me see if I can show this. Your name's Timothy Chalamet, who's Chalamet rather, who's on the who's the main star of that new Bob Dylan movie out at theaters right now. Nikki Glazer at the Golden Globes was making fun of him along with Adam Sandler. I want to play this for you. I thought this was cute. Let's see if I can make it a little bit louder here.
Bob had so many incredible mentors.
Your name sounds like something Adam Sandler would say. Salome. Timothy and Salome. Sandler, can I get a Salome? Hey, Salome. Oh, Salome. A good Salome to you, sir. A Salome to you. Your name.
I like that, dude. That made me smile when I saw that. Dude, Adam Sandler has been doing that same bit for the longest time. Remember that SNL skit where it shows him going to a family reunion and it turns out that every family member was basically a character that he did, like Mr. Deeds, and there was a Billy Madison type of character and a Bobby Boucher and all that stuff. That's funny, dude. He's the same guy. Thing about the actors out there, Joe, that are doing the same role all the time. Like The Rock is the one, right? The Rock is one who doesn't matter what movie he's in, he's doing the same role. Adam Sandler's the same way. Got some comments coming in about Zeke Elliott. Saying, Jesse A saying, I think it's more to be a blocking back. Zeke don't have anymore. Dude, Zeke can't block anymore either.
He done, dude.
I mean, did Dak get injured because Zeke couldn't block?
Possibly. According to JJ, he gave Zeke his release to give him an opportunity to sign with the playoff team.
Dude, that was the beginning of the end for the Cowboy season, and it happened from the get-go. Yeah. Some news and notes. The Tennessee Titans got rid of their GM, Rand Carthen. He was there for 2 years, but Brian Callahan was going to remain the coach of the team. There are reports right now that there's a big name available as a head coach. His name could be Mike McCarthy. Chicago Bears have lined up and have asked the Cowboys to go ahead and interview him. Cowboys have the right to say no. Cowboys have the right to say yes. Either way, come January 14th, he's no longer a member of the Cowboys. He can go do whatever he wants to do. RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys was pointing out the fact that he says that it's a dick move. Didn't say it that way because RJ is very clean, but basically said it's a dick move if the Cowboys do not allow McCarthy to do interviews this week, because coaches get fired this week, they get hired this week.
Yeah.
This is the time, this is the week that coaches get hired. So if Mike McCarthy loses out on a gig and the Cowboys don't re-sign him, what does that say to another coach coming into the Cowboys?
You got to win.
Do you think Jerry Jones would be a dick and just say, no, you can't interview?
Possibly could. Says, this is my team.
So he mentioned that the Jaguars have gotten rid of their head coach, right?
Yeah.
Here are the interview requests according to Jacksonville Jaguars Twitter account, like their official Twitter account. The team has asked 8 people to come in, including Ben Johnson of the Detroit Lions. But they've also asked Kellen Moore, former Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator, to come in and interview for the head coaching position. Kellen Moore still getting love out there. Did all right with the Chargers.
Did all right.
They made the playoffs, right? Chicago Bears have, according to Adam Schefter, have requested an interview with Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady. So according to Adam Schefter. Bill O'Brien, former Houston Texans head coach, also former coach with the New England Patriots, says that he's not going to be leaving college to go back to the NFL. That's good because he sucks as an NFL coach. I stopped cheering for them a long time ago, dude. Apparently, Coach Prime did not like the fact that Ron Carthen got ran out of Tennessee after 2 seasons. And he tweeted something about it, just basically said, wow, with the eye emoji. Tennessee has the number 1 overall pick and is more than likely going to pick. Could pick Shadir Sanders. Could pick, their stud wide receiver, cornerback combo, Travis Hunter. Again, the Jets are also going to interview Bills assistant GM Brian Gain for their job, so not their GM job. So the Jets are looking at a Bills coordinator to come in as a head coach potentially, and a Bills assistant GM to come in and take over for that team. Was watching a thing earlier today. It was actually last night. Asking the question, why do the New York football team suck? Like the Jets have been irrelevant for the most part for 50 years. Is it the worst run organization in all of football?
Possibly is.
And talking about how the Giants wet the bed every year, pop up, get a Super Bowl every 10 or 12 years, and then suck the remaining parts of the decade.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, dude.
They're just poorly run organizations, just much like the Cowboys.
Yeah. Jesse A. reminding us that Kellen Moore is now with the Eagles. Thank you for that. I remember he was with the Chargers for a while immediately after leaving. And then he went to the Eagles. And, well, I mean, you're going to win games if you have Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. You're going to win games. So I don't know how much of that is Kellen Moore, but the fact of the matter is that he's in line for something good.
Yeah, we actually had some breaking news here, too.
What
Something
you got?
that happened here. KSAT 12 reporting. Bexar County commissioners are scheduled to discuss the project,
Project Marvel.
Project Marvel behind closed doors at their meeting this morning. So the proposal to go ahead and pay for all this is possibly raising an existing tax to build a downtown arena for the San Antonio Spurs.
Now, what tax is that, though?
That's the thing.
Because I look at it this way. If it's taxing the people coming into San Antonio, taxing tourists, I'm all about it. That's how the Alamo Dome was built. That's how the Frost Bank Center was done.
Tourism.
Yeah, it's a tourism tax.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of us don't do. Don't be wrong. I will do a staycation in San Antonio a couple times a year. My girlfriend and I were at Valencia the other day, right? I mean, we had a discount on that through Expedia. The reason why we were out there was because that's when I ran the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. And we had to be downtown. So it wasn't just me going, hey, I'm going to go to Valencia.
Do you see some of these comments, dude?
Yeah.
This is from the KSAT 12 post that I just showed.
Yeah.
And look at what it says. I'm going to show you this one. Just what the biggest poor city in the country needs. The Project Marvel Spurs Arena. I'm like, geez, dude. Is that your burner, Mike?
Well, no. Here's the thing, man. It takes money to make money. It takes money to make money.
Man.
It depends on how you look at it. You can look at this and say, San Antonio doesn't have the money to do this, therefore we shouldn't do this, right?
Yeah.
But that's so small-minded. If you want to invest in yourself, you have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes money to make money.
Look at what's going on right now with the Spurs and where they're currently, playing at the Frost Center out there by Houston, way out there off of Houston Street, way out there on the east side of town.
Mm-hmm.
What's around there? Not a damn thing. You can't pregame. You're not going to want to stay there after the game. You get in your car and what do, Mike? We leave. We get as far away from that place as we can because they never developed anything around that area. Nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, putting it downtown makes more sense. And the city officials that were just going back and forth with each other when they said, no, we want to put it out here in, this part of town on the
But
east
the
side.
Spurs wanted that as well.
Yeah, at the time, because they were promised, hey, we're going to revitalize the area. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't a good move. They should have stayed downtown.
So I'm looking at KSAT's article on this, and it says that the tax that they're talking about is whether or not the Spurs can have access to 100% of it until the arena is complete. The tax is a 5% tax on car rentals. So somebody come into San Antonio, or maybe it's even ourselves, who rent a car from Avis or Hertz or Alamo rental cars, whatever. It's a 5% tax on that. The other is a 1.75% hotel tax. And apparently there's a rule that says that the maximum hotel tax allowable is 2%. And it's whether or not the Spurs can do that. So unless you're doing a staycation here or renting a car from here, you're not going to feel the effects of the tax.
Yeah.
It's visitors coming into town that are paying the majority of it, right? Kind of like when Trump says we're going to have Mexico pay for the wall, which had never really happened that way. This is basically saying we're going to get our arena, but we're going to have other people pay for it, right? Sam Slynn is saying, here's my problem with Project Marvel. Every single entertainment district across the country has not yielded what was promised. They've been zero benefit. It depends on how you look at it. Are you looking at this as though a standalone type of deal, or are you looking at it as what it can build around it? Because if Project Marvel is built, there might be other companies that want to come around and go, man, this is a beautiful place. Let's put up a headquarters right here. Let's put up a new skyscraper, a new building over here. It becomes a tourism type of place. And not all entertainment areas are bad. I have friends right now that are in Nashville right now on Broadway Street. You can't tell me that doesn't bring money into the business, into the company, into the city.
Yeah.
Right? You have Broadway Street and all the surrounding streets right there, from the Cumberland River, from Vanderbilt University to up the Cumberland to Broadway. And you have all those bars right there, nightclubs, which leads into the Bridgestone Arena, which leads into downtown Nashville. Can't tell me that hasn't been a net positive. You can't tell me that the entertainment districts in Austin haven't been a net positive to them. You can't tell me that the French Quarter in New Orleans has not been a net positive to what goes on at the Superdome. You can't tell me that Times Square in New York. Can't tell me that all these areas that have had entertainment districts, because there's an entertainment district in Philadelphia where you have Lincoln Financial Field and you have Wells Fargo Stadium and all that. That's all right there as an entertainment district, right? Can it put San Antonio on the map when it comes to being a front-running city, a progressive city when it comes to places? Can it attract people to want to live downtown?
Mm-hmm. Could be.
The Pearl has done that. Have you driven down Broadway Street where the pig stand used to be, right?
Yeah.
And you go towards downtown. What was all that 5 years ago?
Nothing but closed businesses.
It was nothing but closed businesses,
abandoned buildings.
We had the Fox Motel over there, right?
Yeah.
Which was, Hooker Central, right? And then you had a bunch of homeless people right there, right? What do you have now? A bunch of condos,
nice places to live.
Nice places to live. The gentrification of downtown. Well, sometimes gentrification is needed.
Yeah, it's because it's putting people and businesses back in downtown where it's needed. Because if you want to contend with the bigger cities, what do they have, Mike? They have all these nice things in their downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Downtown San Antonio can benefit from Project Marvel, but at the end of the day, it has to make sense for both parties. For the city, for the Spurs. Hopefully, they can ink out a deal that'll work for everybody and get the Spurs out of the Frost Center where they're at right now, because that makes absolutely zero sense, man.
And what people don't realize is that these arenas have 30-year shelf lives.
Yeah.
And it's mandated by the NBA, unless you're in a historic place like Madison Square Garden, it's mandated that these teams get new facilities every 30 to 35 years. Frost Bank Center, when you walk in there, it's a nice facility. It seems relatively new, but it's 22 years old.
Yep, 22 years old, and it's had some upgrades in order for it to even look like that. They did everything with the lighting, the new, big screen that they have out there, all this, things that they've done. They've widened the concourse and all that stuff to make it where it is now. But in the beginning, when you went, it wasn't a bad venue. I mean, it's kind of dated by today's standards,
They're not going to implode it.
No,
okay.
they're
Locked
not.
On Spurs, Jeff Garcia asking the question, how would Jimenez know that Fox Motel was a hooker central? Because I worked at KSAT for many years, and it was right next to KSAT 12. So that was you would drive right there. KSAT 12 is maybe half a mile from what used to be the Fox Motel, and we drive down that street all the time. Dude, you knew what was going on. You knew the ladies that were there. It was hooker central. It was. It is. It's all parts of it. There's certain parts of San Antonio that you know that, right? Zara Zamora. You go to mysa.com. They'll talk to you about North Zara Zamora all the time. Samson is saying right, Mike, but who lives there? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying don't promise San Antonio citizens that they'll benefit and turn around and price the poor city out. You get tax revenue because it's more than just a Spurs arena. It's more than just a hotel. It's the expansion of the existing convention center.
Yeah.
And it's also the expansion of the Riverwalk and connecting parts of the city, parts of downtown. And it's also going to revitalize what used to be Hemisphere Park. And you have the Tower of Americas, which, by the way, have you been by the Tower of Americas? That thing needs to be...
It's looking pretty bad, dude.
It needs a paint job or something, man.
Have you looked on the underside of it? They've shown
crusty.
pictures. Yeah, dude, it's like falling apart, man.
So it's all of that. And then also it's what? A restructuring of the Alamo Dome. It's the park area.
Yeah.
It's not just a stadium, and it's not just an entertainment district. It's a facelift for all of downtown San Antonio. My question is, are voters going to get it? Because there's the potholes people out there. Well, we got to fix potholes. F you guys. You know what? You know what potholes do? They don't bring money into the city. They don't bring money into the city. Go to New York City right now. There's potholes everywhere. You know why? Because they focus on other things.
They don't give a damn, dude.
Dude, I was in, you drive through LA, Houston, Austin. There's always going to be problems with roads. That doesn't bring money into it.
Yeah.
I'm a businessman. I know there's certain things that I do that make money and certain things that don't make money. And I got to focus on the things that make money, right? Because that's part of being in business.
Yeah.
And part of being in business is also delegating and stuff like that. Here's the thing, though, man. This is a giant step that could be done there. And it needs to be sold that you're not paying for it. You're not paying for it.
Yeah. Look at Matt Gomez saying the tower is getting its own facelift aside from Project Marvel.
It's part of it all. Well, I mean, that's not part of Project Marvel, but it's part of all that's needed.
The revitalization.
Why would anybody give two craps about this? Because the people that are going to come out the most about it, we're not going to benefit from it. We're not going to mother effer, you're not even going to pay for it. Are you staying at Valencia? Are you staying at the St. Anthony? Are you staying at the JW Marriott? Are you staying at the La Cantera? Are you staying at Comfort Inn? Are you staying at Motel 6, the Oyo, wherever it is? Are you staying there? No. Well, then shut the F up.
Or are they going to be renting the vehicles to pay for the
exactly.
Stadium?
Are you going to rent them? The only time I get a rental vehicle in San Antonio is when my car gets hit
down,
and the insurance company pays for it.
Me and you, being dads that we are, we're renting a U-Haul to take our kids, drive them, to go ahead and go to their new place or driving them back home, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who are going to complain the most about this, what's going to be? It's going to be the west side of town because they always get underrepresented. Yeah. It's going to be the south side of town. It's going to be the east side of town. They're going to be the ones screaming the most at it. And you know what? Sorry, we're trying to make money over here.
Yeah. Speaking of which, too, I'm going to have to drive my daughter all the way to Florida here before the year's over because she's going to be moving over there. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Road trip, Mike. You know how that goes in the U-Haul. Most uncomfortable vehicle to drive ever.
Dude, I did that drive from Gabby from Baton Rouge to San Antonio, San Antonio to Baton Rouge. Oh, my God.
It's a long drive.
You're like this the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't recline for anything.
There ain't no give.
Doesn't go past 65 miles an hour. It is awful.
It's awful. You know what? We do have some celebrity breaking news here. I'd like to go ahead and share with you.
Yeah.
Check this out, man. TMZ just released this on the X, and it says Post Malone gave a single mom a $20,000 tip on Christmas Eve in a Texas bar. How about that, man?
Very, very nice. if you want to see Rihanna in lingerie, go to tmz.com. Was not expecting that right now, but Demon Mike is going to come out, make an appearance.
Hi, Mike.
I'm just going to say that I had to get back to work, man. You were talking about TMZ. That was the first thing I saw on there. And I was like, oh, what the hell's going on here? But Demon Mike has to go back to work.
NSFW, not safe for work.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yikes. Was not expecting that. Barbados in the house.
Oh, man.
Everyone have a fantastic day. Bring the plants in, bring the doggies in. It's going to be cold again tomorrow. It's going to be cold again on Thursday as well. Everyone have a fantastic day. Go Spurs, go. Jimmy Butler coming to the Spurs, maybe?
Maybe.
Let's make it happen, dude. It's got to do something.
And thanks for all the super chats, guys. We appreciate the support,
Had an
man.
amazing amount. Everyone have a fantastic day, and we'll be back tomorrow.